What's happening, guys? It's Logan Robinson from BucsGameday.com. We're here on Hear the Cannons, and it's an instant recap of another loss, a fourth straight loss for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here in Miami this time. 20-17. The Bucs start off hot there on the offensive side of the ball and go respond and get a touchdown with Chris Godwin. But after that, just things fall apart until the very end when Mike Evans is able to get into the end zone. But all over the place, Baker Mayfield, 2 interceptions, ugly. Also, too, had a fumble that was given away to the Dolphins as well in this one. And once again,
Yep.
a rookie quarterback is able to make Todd Bowles' defense look like a high school team. But with me this afternoon is River Wells, our lead editor at BucsGameday.com. Here we are again, River. Another loss, and it shouldn't shock a lot of Bucs fans, but here they are again. They own their own fate, but now they actually have to win this time.
Yeah, I can't believe you could lose 7 of your last 8 games and still be in control of your own destiny, but that's the NFC South reality that we live in, right? Yeah, I mean, it's the same old song and dance all the time right about now. You've had the same execution issues all throughout these last, 8 or 9 games. We talked to Todd Bowles about it, and that's what he said, and that's what Baker Mayfield said, and they say the same things. They say the same exact things. We just got to go out there and execute. We had the energy. It's not a leadership problem. It's players doing their job, and it comes to a point where you wonder, well, why isn't a player doing their job game after game after game after game after game? Offensive issues, right? Only able to score 17 points, mostly 10 for most of the game there. Defensive issues, like Quinn Ewers very efficient. The run game of Miami definitely ended up cooking them when it most mattered, right? Able to burn off the clock. Devon Chan almost had 100 yards. Just brutal all around. And special teams, a block and a big return out to the 50 right over here. All 3 phases of the game, all bad. And I've said this every week, and they keep playing like this. They're not going to beat anybody, and they haven't. And now they've got a game against the Carolina Panthers to go to the playoffs with definitely a losing record. And, man, I just don't know. They're playing like this, that they can get that done. So we'll have to see, but everything's going wrong. Just about everything.
Yeah, and I mean, if it has to be a team that has to fight and show energy of any way, shape, or form, it's not the Bucs right now. The Panthers will do that. They show that they can fight, and they've done that throughout the season. Not saying that they're a great
Right.
team either. They are not a
They're
good
not. They're
football
not.
team. But
They're not.
out of nowhere, you got lucky once again, and they end up losing to the Seahawks. Or this could have been just over. We would have been on an instant
Right.
reaction talking about the 2025 season. That's
Yep.
a wrap for the Tampa Bay
Exactly.
Buccaneers, and that would have been a pretty ugly locker room. And it already was. I mean, we just got done with
They did.
interviews, and we
They
were
did.
there, and we could overhear a few players. I think one of those was Lavonte David, who you're not going to be
Yep.
shocked to hear was very animated in that locker room afterward, and we could overhear it before the pressers began with Todd Bowles. And I think it's shocking, though. Todd Bowles continues to say that this team shows up with a lot of energy. I know Baker Mayfield, I asked him that as well, and I just don't sense that. And I mean,
You should.
River, you saw me. Had the binoculars going the entirety of the game, watching that
You
sideline,
did.
and
You did.
it's completely shot. It's dead. There's not a lot of accountability happening over there. I think the most emotion I saw was whenever Baker Mayfield threw his second interception when I saw Rachaad White throw his helmet to the ground. That was about really all I saw there. And then, you see the defense give up these big plays, and specifically to a rookie quarterback.
Yep.
It's just it's deflating, but I just don't see as much care from this locker room right now, and they're just kind of going week to week. And they were asked a lot of times, River, from reporters, like, what can you change this week? Do you need to have players meetings? Do you need to change the way that you're practicing? And they said there's nothing really much that they can change at this point. I fully agree with them. I think they've tried everything imaginable. It's just where this team is, and I just don't see it. And when we talk about not showing any emotion, that starts with Todd Bowles. I don't
Yeah.
think this team is really fighting for Todd Bowles anymore, River.
I mean, if they are, they're certainly not doing a good job at it. So, I mean, you have these execution issues, these player issues, and that's what this team is swearing is the problem. And if it is, I mean, there's nothing going, right? So we get the same answers every week, then we get the same questions the next week, right? And we get the same answers and on and on and on. So honestly, man, I don't really know what else to say. There's offensive issues, there's procedural stuff, there's penalties that are killing them, turnovers from Baker Mayfield. The defense is giving up, third and longs. They're not disciplined.
Special
They're leaving
teams.
gaps open.
Special
Special
teams,
teams
once again, was awful.
with blocks. I mean, Todd Bowles even said that on that big return here to midfield, Jason Bourne was supposed to kick it out the end zone. He didn't. So he had blocks right there too. I mean, it's just nothing's going right, and it's hard to believe that if you don't have this game, you have no momentum going into the next game. You still control your own destiny, but they've known that this whole time. This whole time, and nothing's changed. So I don't know, man. I don't know what they expect to happen next week, but I mean, it's looking like Cancun is what it's looking like. So we'll have to see what happens.
Well, yeah, now you can't lose. And, Baker said, you're gonna have some help because you are at home. And I'll tell you what, we were talking about it in the press box. I was like, thank the Lord actually that the Steelers lost. I'm now, I'm a Steelers fan, so it is what it is. Tough loss is what it is. But for on the Bucs' sake, you got to be very thankful the Steelers did not win that game. Then you would likely, potentially, could have put this Bucs Panthers game in a primetime matchup, and the Bucs play awful in primetime. They're
They do,
god
and they
awful
still, and by
in
the way, they
primetime.
still technically could. We're probably going to get a Saturday night game and a Sunday night game. It depends on what they want to do with San Francisco versus Seattle. If that's a 4:25 game,
You
it
don't
might be on
want it.
prime time.
You don't want night game in Raymond James
The
Stadium. I
lights
know
are
that
too
would be
bright. The
fun.
lights are too bright.
It would be great to tailgate all day, have some beer. Sure enough, watching these last couple of games with the Bucs, you want to be drinking before getting into the stadium, but you don't
Right.
want to be under the lights, though. Being honest, this team is
Yeah.
awful
So
on
we'll
primetime.
see.
Awful. And the way that they're playing, River, that's even more scary because they were already last year, the year before, earlier this year. They already play flat on primetime games.
Yeah.
But now on a 1 p.m., just a 45-minute flight for them down here to Miami, they played like they didn't want to be out here. And I could see
Right.
it in the pregame warm-ups. There's just nothing there, man. And sadly for any FSU fans in here, you can see there's a lot that is very similar with this roster and what's happening right now. And I don't see the
That's not
fight for the
that
head
sad.
coach. I don't see the fight for the head coach right now, River, at all. At all.
I mean, yeah, that's something you got to consider. And like I said, I don't know how definitive a statement that is, but if they're trying to play for their head coach, they're not doing a very good job at it. So it's really tough, and they're just not playing good football, and nothing's getting fixed. And they say we need to do this and this. We got to execute what looks good in practice. And to be honest with you, we've talked about this too, Logan. That's the worst place to be, is when you're doing everything and you don't know what's wrong. You're in a dark place at that point because there's something you can do to really fix it. And I think that's exactly what this team is. They're going to have to figure something out quick. And like you said, I don't know if they have time. So it's looking like right now they're going to get bounced next week. But if they do make it, they're not going to make it far. The whole world knows it. Everyone knows it. We all know it. They probably know it. It's not good. It's not good. So bad loss here in Miami. They come back up north to Tampa to play a home game, and they know they have to win it, but they've known that the whole time. So, hey, what can you do?
Now, there was a handful of injuries, something to monitor every week, though. This happens
Yes.
for kind of these two players, Hassan Reddick and Jamel Dean.
Right.
You're very, very lucky to have, Jamel Dean make it through a game, and then definitely now Hassan Reddick. But Hassan Reddick, it was interesting. I didn't see the play where he was concussed or anything, but I did notice he
Yep.
was on the sideline, not going out there with the defensive side of the ball. Todd said that he's got a concussion he's dealing with, but I thought that was pretty interesting because that was an ugly drive from that defense. And didn't technically see Son Reddick's play in that, but I did see some tweets after I put out that it was weird seeing Reddick just sitting on the sideline by himself. I don't know if there's anything more to it, but we'll see. And then, of course, with Jamel Dean, that's something that Todd Bowles told us today that he's been dealing with a shoulder injury this entire season, and it flared back up in this game. But he also gave up a brutal, brutal touchdown like it happened last week against Bryce Young and the Panthers. And so just all over the place right now, just some guys, just at least with those two, some injuries to keep an eye on moving forward. But the thing is, there's no more excuses on the injuries. That is long. That has been long gone. It's kind of been way gone. I would say just even. I think your last straw was with Bucky Irving. That could have been maybe your only little thing there that maybe Grizzard had felt heavily on Bucky Irving building this offense, which he should coming into the season. But they made their adjustments and they went 5-1, and then you bring back Bucky Irving after the injury, and things just still continue to just fall flat for yourselves on the offensive side of the ball. The injuries excuses has never been that way for the defensive side of the ball, and that side of the ball has just been consistently bad throughout a lot of this season. And it's the excuses, the injury excuses, got to go out the window, River.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, missing Jamel Dean would be unfortunate. Todd Bowles said Dean told him his shoulder gave out. It's not a phrase you probably want to hear when it comes to that. But yeah, I mean, these are all teams that they played. They should be better at. They've got a lot of talent on offense. They've got a lot of it back. A lot of, defensive guys are healthy and playing. We've got all 4 receivers back in the game. I agree. Definitely not implicitly with these injuries, regardless, I should say. It's execution. It's got to be coaching. It's got to be everything. Nothing's good. I've been all healthy who enter here. It's not been great. And now they got to have one more shot, guys, to win the NFC South. Somehow. I can't imagine. I was talking with the wonderful Greg Allman at Fox Sports about this. I can't imagine I've ever been a team who has lost 7 of their last 8 games and been in a winner-in game at the very end of the season. I can't imagine that's ever happened. So,
hey, welcome to the NFC South, brother.
That's the type of football we play here. Yeah.
Awful on awful, dookie on dookie. Welcome to the blankest division in football. It is a just crap eating crap, and that's what it is. And somehow, I think like Baker Mayfield's like talking at the post game there, and was it like stunned? They still have a chance here. And like we said earlier, it could have been over. It could have ended there with the Panthers in Seattle earlier, but they still want this to last one bit longer. And honestly, for the people calling for Todd Bowles and you're over it and you're tired of it and it's time to move on and everything, I think having another game like this might be able to work in your favor if you do want to move on from Bowles, because like we are probably expecting this team, I don't think is going to show up and be ready to play against the Panthers, because I don't see the want to right now. And that might help your resume there, whatever you're trying to build on moving on from your head coach in Tampa, if that's the case. I know, and we'll talk further on this, River, because it certainly could change on how Ian Rappaport's thinking on it. I know NFL Network, from him, he said this morning before the game started that with Todd Bowles, he got a 3-year extension going into 2028, along with 2 the division titles has helped him, of course, keep his job secure. But I don't really know. I think maybe his mind might change. And that was nothing coming off of sources or anybody inside the building from the Bucs.
That's the important thing to understand. That seemed like it was kind of Rappaport's opinion more so than it's something he was stating. And he's plugged in, so he might understand that. But things change, and this would be a way to change that.
Yep. So that is likely going to do it for us here in Miami. We'll be live for you guys next Wednesday night, giving you a preview between the Bucs and the Panthers. We'll see. We
apologize in advance.
Yeah. I asked some of the Bucs PR team today after the game, asking when we might know a time for that. Likely at the end of today. We'll probably get that on Sunday Night Football, I would imagine. We'll get those games or those kickoff times. So stay tuned. Sunday Night Football. We should have those times for whenever the Bucs do face the Panthers. But we appreciate y'all. If you guys are still here with us on either Facebook, YouTube, hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it. I know the Bucs not winning sure doesn't help the vibes. Doesn't help the vibes on anything, but let me tell you, we would definitely appreciate it on our end if you do hit that like button. It goes out to more Bucs fans and everything, and share with all of your crew members as well. But that's going to do it. Safe travels, everybody. All the Bucs fans heading back home to Tampa tonight, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday when we preview Bucs versus Panthers, and we'll talk some more Todd Bowles in the future of the Tampa Bay Bucs head coach.
They will.
Peace.
Yeah.